Good evening. How are you? This is James Lang or Tariq Lang, and we have our show today, which is Cultivating the Culture. And it's November 22nd, and here we like to listen to Malcolm X make a statement.
Nowadays, to learn how to do is see for yourself and listen for yourself and think for yourself, and then you can come to an intelligent decision for yourself. But if you form the habit of
waiting for him to make the statement,
hear others say about someone, or going by what others think about someone, instead of going and searching that thing out for yourself and seeing for yourself, you will be walking west when you think you're going east. You'll be walking east when you think you're going west. So this generation, especially of our people, have a burden upon themselves more so than at any other time in history. The most important thing we can learn how to do today is think for ourselves. It's good to keep wide open ears and listen to what everybody else has to say. But when you come to make a decision, you have to weigh all of what you heard of its own and place it where it belongs. And then come to a decision for yourself, and you'll never regret it. But if you form the habit of taking what someone else says about a thing without checking it out for yourself, you'll find that other people will have you hating your own friends and loving their enemies. And this is one of the things that our people are beginning to learn today, that it's very important to think out a situation for yourself. If you don't do it, then you'll always be maneuvered into actually, you'll never fight your enemies, but you will find yourself fighting your own self. And I think
I hope you got a chance to listen and think about what he said. We'll talk about it in a few minutes and get ready for a great show. Thank you.
Nowadays, to learn how to do is
Hello, how are you? This is Tariq Lang, and this is the first of our series of shows. And the show is called Cultivating the Culture. And first, I'd like to tell you about myself. My name is Tariq Lang. I've been active pretty much all my life, been into the culture. And the title that we came up with is Cultivating the Culture. The term that is used for my generation is the culture, or the younger generation thereafter is the culture. And our people, we have our own culture. And so our culture has changed. And what we're trying to do is our intent to work on things that will be able to cultivate the culture, to bring it back to a culture that was similar to what Malcolm was saying. If you heard our introduction, the gist of what Malcolm has said is that you have to learn to be able to think for yourself. And if you don't think for yourself, then others will think for you. Basically, you will be headed east when you think you're headed west, or you'll be headed west when you think you're headed east. And when he made this statement in 1964, 1965. At that time, very few people had TVs. It was a small percentage. But in that 56 years, and I say 56 years because that's when I was born, in 1964, this 56 years, a lot has changed, where everybody has TV, everybody has electronic devices, everybody has things that actually give you ideas, ways to be able to think for yourself, or not think for yourself, or others to think for you. At the time when he spoke, we had control of our culture. And as you see today, in 2020, our culture has changed from where we were before. So what we want to try to do is try to be able to build a culture. One of the things is, if you notice on our program flyer that we had, it says right here, you have Jamaat al-Sijin. And Jamaat al-Sijin is, Jamaat means the congregation, the Jamaat al-Sijin, congregation of the prison. People wondered, Jamaat al-Sijin, what is that? Well, we had a program. What we did, we worked with the prisons for a very long time, and we had set up something to remind them, because many brothers had high rates of recidivism going back into the prison. And what we remind them is that when you leave that small prison, you go out into the bigger prison. For us, what is we believe that the life of this world is a prison for the believers, because our father Adam was sent here for a certain amount of time. We do our time while we're here, and if we get good behavior, we're rewarded with paradise. And if we don't, we're rewarded with something else. So this is a strong belief, and this was our organization that we had. So I wear that shirt. I wear this shirt, starting out as a reminder to others and as a reminder to ourselves that we have restrictions in this life, and this is not the real life. The real life is the next life. So going back to the culture, and of course Malcolm X believed in Islam, and Malcolm X understood that, and Malcolm X understood about this life and the temporary state that it was in. So one of the things that I chose about thinking for yourself is because we have to look at the example that we have right now with the Ice Cube situation. We're starting out. We're going to be covering various different subjects and talking about other issues. But this issue, what we're going to talk about, is a contract with Black America. On my webpage or Facebook, I had posted the contract with Black America. And anybody that wants to be able to see the contract with Black America, just Google it, and you will have a link to Ice Cube. And then after that, you can tap in and you can go to the actual contract with Black America. A lot of controversy happened over this situation. And why? Because people did not think for themselves. People did not investigate. If I ask the average person about the Ice Cube situation, they would say, oh, he was trying to back up Trump. No. He's been on several different shows. He's on CNN, I've seen him on Fox with Queens, seen him on Red Table, all these, and each one of them he said, I was not backing up Trump. Basically, he has set up something that for us, for our tribe, for our people, that we have some type of agenda that we can be able to sit down with any victor, any person that's going to win, or that has won, or a person that is in the running. Basically, after the primaries, whether the Democrats, whoever they choose, or whoever the Republicans choose. And this is not just limited to the presidency. A lot of times we limit our whole existence to the success of who's going to be the president. But the president has limited controls. It has to go down to even your local ANC, your councilman, your mayor, your governor, your board members. Everybody has accountability, and everybody has a part. And with this contract with Black America, he pointed out various different things. There's an index that he had for the different subjects. I'll just go over quickly. The 8 points. One is black opportunity and representation. Other is massive bank lending and finance reform. The other is 3, which is judicial and public policy reform. 4, constitutional amendment. 5, police reform. 6, entertainment industry reform and reparations. 7, monuments and institutions. 8, Black Americans' responsibility. So this is pretty in-depth. I think the issue that many people had is that he actually sat down and talked with Donald Trump. Well, the reality is, as he stated, he sat down and he spoke several months with the Democratic Party. You heard nothing of it. We didn't hear anything of it. We never heard anything of it until he actually sat down with Trump. So his efforts that he did to be able to sit with these people, speak with them, present his plan, put it out there, and try to talk about the things that are needed by us, what happened? Nothing. And then when the Trump administration approached him and he sat down to speak with them to explain these are our demands, not I'm signing up with you, these are our demands, he spoke with them, then we hear about him. But unfortunately, when we heard false tales. We heard people saying things, and like I said, people not investigating. They just heard one thing, oh, he's backing up Trump. Did they investigate? Did they find out? Did they listen to any of the talks that he had where he said, no, I'm not? Did they even find out what is the contract with Black America? Well, it's my humble opinion, and from my observation, the reason why they had the people attack them. The reason why is because they don't want you to be able to actually stand up and have some type of rights, stand up and hold some position, stand up and say, in order for you to get my vote, you actually have to do something I need. You're not going to make the decision, because many times we leave it up to the politicians to, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But what he did was gave us a nice agenda. So as I talked about, we have black opportunities. I'm going to go over actually 2 or 3, maybe today, just because we have a limited amount of time. But one of them, and the black opportunities, just a synopsis. These are some of the things that they were speaking about. And these are some of the things that we need. So black opportunity and representation. Number one of the things they put forward is the case for neo-reconstruction. Neo-reconstruction is an aggressive initiative meant to redress past wrongs systematically imposed on black Americans economically through many generations, wrongs that have had a severe negative impact on African Americans both economically and education. For black Americans to be eligible, they must provide documentation and descent from at least one of the enslaved persons. So here he's addressing the issue specifically dealing with the descendants of African Americans. We have a lot of programs, like he pointed out, that are set up for minorities. I'm a contractor where I do construction, and I've been dealing with the federal contracting, municipal contracting. And what happens is these minority programs, you end up finding out you're the last to be able to receive. We have many people from Southeast Asia are benefiting from it. Okay, well, that's great. You may face your discrimination, but we are the ones that actually fought for this to come about. And so we're fighting so we can be able to benefit to remove ourselves from this situation of oppression. And we end up being the last ones in line concerning that. And so most of us, if we go to the Ancestry.com, you can be able to just look back and you can see your family members that are slaves or were slaves or from the South, which were slave states. Another subject he has, affirmative action for all secondary schools, colleges, and universities, public and private. Black enrollment must meet or exceed the percentage of the black population nationwide, 13.4%. And one of the things is we always talk about 13.4%. We've been staying at that percentage for about, 50 years? And I remember when Bush came in, baby Bush came in, and one of the first things he did was with the census, he stopped doing a multiplier factor. And the multiplier factor is known that, I say, out of the blacks in a certain area, out of 100%, maybe 50% or 70% respond, which is probably 50%. So they would put a multiplier, whatever the number is, they'll multiply by 1.5, 1.7 to be able to have a better idea of the actual numbers of blacks that live in those areas. Well, one of the first things that he did was eliminate that. So there is no multiplier. So our numbers actually decrease. So the numbers that you're getting saying what our percentage is actually less. The great thing about this election, it actually showed the power of our percentage. That 13% was greater than 13% when it came to that change of Donald Trump, who was winning from when he just had the white vote, until they went and started going into the different cities and Pittsburgh and Detroit and other black cities, and those numbers started going up. And we started changing that election. As the election showed that 65% of white Americans actually voted for Donald Trump, even though he had all of these policies, all these issues. But what happened is that so-called 13%, or which I believe it's 20% or more, that percentage, we were able to make that change. So he talks about that with the percentage-wise. And another thing is, it says local funding for schools will be determined by an equal per student for all schools throughout the state. So he goes in, most of the places you have it that you can go within 2 miles and you will have a change of what type of school it is. Why? Because of just the income that comes in. But it's the income that comes in the city. So he's having things set up like that. And I can go on but we don't have the time to go over the list. I advise everybody to pull up Contract for Black America. And what we want to do is, I'm going to take the time out, but what we want to do is just go over other subjects that affect our community. One of the things is, as a Muslim, When you read the Quran, there's a term that many of the prophets, when they would go to the people, they say, Ya Qawmi, oh my people, oh my people. And this is the example, this is sunnah of all of the prophets or all of the people when they come. They were taught to their people because they can be able to make a change. Their people, they understand their people. And so for me, this is my effort where I'm going to my people. And I'm trying to be able to make the change, trying to make this change of the culture, to be able to bring it back to where we should be, to do my part, and also assist in other efforts that people have. Too many times we are fighting each other. And this is a culture that is not our culture. This is a culture that has been innovated by the media devices in order for us to be divided so we cannot be united and be able to achieve. And they have been very successful. Now, even I remember with the rap, they started rap battling, and during the time, and the rappers are battling each other. Then I actually started seeing at a later time that brothers that were conscious started competing with each other. They're battling each other. The reality is we don't benefit by battling each other. We benefit by aiding each other in a forward direction to be able to make a change. And going back to this contract with Black America, it's an organized effort for us to be able to have different issues that all of us can be involved with. So, like I said, is this a sign up and saying that this is the best plan in the world? No, it is not. Is this something signing up and saying that Ice Cube is the greatest thing? No, but I applaud the brother. I applaud the brother for stepping forward. I applaud the brother for putting this out there. I applaud the brother for putting the situation on the line, because I know that he did not make the powers be happy from either side, because they want to be able to be relaxed, knowing that you're just going to vote for them. Or even the banking system. One of the major things that he talked about is that he said that we're 13%, whatever percentage we are of the population, but we get less than 3 to 1% of the loans. As a contractor, I have government contracts, federal contracts, Army Corps of Engineering contracts. But then when I went to the bank, I had to go through different things. And I was told by one of my father's friends who was worked for PNC Bank. And he basically said that for the other people, that they can go to the bank with a dream on a napkin and get as much money as they want. But for us, we have to go through all kind of extra steps. With accounting, you have to have an audited, statement. You have to have property. You have all these things to be able to get a loan. And in order to do business, in order to have generational wealth, in order to go to another level, you have to be able to get some aid and assistance. Whether you do halal loans, whether you do, the regular loans, whatever but you have to be able to have some assistance. And so this is also what is pointed out in this plan. So I like it. I like that it's organized. I like the effort. So these are some of the things we're talking about. We'll talk about other subjects, and we'll encourage the working together of people. I'm not here to battle anybody. I'm not here to talk about anybody. I'm not here to attack anyone. I'm here. We are here. My guests will be here to be able to, so we can move forward, to be able to restore a culture of progress, a culture of education, a culture that of belief in God. And that's a major thing for myself. That's a major thing that I think that our culture has suffered, is our lack of belief in God, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, whether you're a Jewish, Hebrew. This was something that was always part of our culture that has been attacked. Why? Because we have allowed devices, outside forces, outside individuals to raise ourselves, to raise our children, to raise our future generation by allowing them to come in from the TV, from the media, from outside things, and have a culture that is not cultivating our children towards success. So I know I covered a lot of things. Our program is a half-hour program. We started a little late today, but like I said, as Malcolm said, that we have to learn to be able to think for ourselves. And the last thing that I wanted to say is that we are at a time that we have in our hands, these cell phones, what 20 years ago or 30 years ago, the richest man in the world couldn't have, as far as access to education, access to video, access to be able to learn. They had before separate but equal, but it was really separate but unequal. We had it that when I was in high school, I could, if it wasn't in my library, there was science books or physics books, I couldn't find my library. I had to go downtown New York to another library. Now I have it that I can just be able to Google it. We have to be able to start taking advantage of that, changing that culture, a culture of having it that our kids are not just playing Roblox and they're teaching them that you make some money and get some money and doing this. You know, we have to be able to change it, a culture that our children are enjoying education, that our children are learning the ABCs and playing games. That's the games that are learning physics raps, other things, you know, chemistry raps, things that's we're going to be educating, changing that culture, showing them that it is cool. You know, it is cool. A person is tough to be and cool to be smart. That just because a person is strong, they have to be dumb. No, this is a culture that is a culture of destruction. This is a culture that is foreign to us. This is a culture that was created by media devices that do not have the concern for the success of our people. So I know I've said a lot. Maybe you can listen to it, take some notes, and hopefully you'll be able to take some notes and take some action, like I said. So peace be with you. It's 8:30. We try to make sure that everything that we do, we end it on time. And next time we'll try to take some phone calls. But this show, the first thing was just be able to introduce our show, talk about one of the subjects that we're going to talk about, and then, you know, hopefully go from there and work on cultivating this culture and changing the code of the culture. So peace be with you. Thank you very much. And Assalamu alaikum.